Greetings, citizens. Hey you beautiful, creepy little human being you. Welcome to my channel and welcome to today's Q&A video. I'm so happy we could meet like this. I'm so happy that somehow in all this craziness, you and I were able to find each other on this cute little earthly rotation. My name is Brittany or BRATTERSTEIN, whichever you prefer, and today we are going to be answering all these freaking questions that you guys submitted. You guys truly went above and beyond. I had no idea. I wasn't even sure I was going to film this because I was like, I don't know if they want it. And then you guys gave me a zillion questions. So I'm going to be sitting here. I'm going to be putting some makeup on. I'm going to have me a little drink and I'm going to answer all of your hard-hitting questions. And it looks like Jack's going to hang out with us for a little bit too. He'll probably leave. He doesn't like to stay near me too long when I'm filming for some reason. But you know, for now, the most beautiful view in the world. If you're new and somehow you just stumbled here, hi, I'm Brittany, as I already said, and normally I do a thing called morbid makeup where I tell a true crime case and put on a face of makeup, but I decided that today we're going to chill and we're going to just talk about me. So if you were on the fence about subscribing because you weren't sure who I am as a person, maybe hearing the answers to these questions will sway you in one way or another. And if you want to, join the Brat Pack by subscribing and ringing the bell, because I put out a new video every week, and I would love it if you would come and hang out and become one of us. One of us. One of us. One of us. Alright, and let's just get into these questions because you guys gave me so many questions. And I didn't write down any names. Some people I know who left these, but I wasn't sure if people wanted their names said in the video, so I didn't. If we do this again and you want me to say your name, then just tell me and I will. But for now, I'm just gonna get to answering. And some of you are geniuses because I put up a poll saying, like, do you want me to just do makeup while I answer these questions, or do you want me to just like chill and drink? And a couple of you were like, why don't you do makeup and drink? And I was like, you're absolute geniuses. How did I never think of that? So that's what I'm doing. And I went to the liquor store this morning and I picked this up, and I've never had it before. It's chili guava apple cider. So it's apple cider that's made with chili puree and dried chilies. It's like a spicy cider, and I'm here for that because anything that's sweet and spicy, sign me up. I'm a pineapple jalapeno pizza ass bitch. So let's get into the questions. I'm putting makeup on. Right, Jack? I'm not going to do these totally in order because the very first question on my list is like one of the harder hitting ones. So I'm going to start and like I'm going to just, Let's start with the question, am I a professional makeup artist? Why is it spicy? The answer is no. I never went to school for makeup. I don't believe I've ever had any paid makeup jobs, but I have been doing makeup. I'm 32. I started in like junior high, so whatever math that is. And I used to do makeup before doing it on Instagram and YouTube. I used to do it on MySpace to age myself. I used to do like little pictorials. So I've done it online a long time. I've never done it professionally, but I'm the one who does like girls' night out. I do my makeup I do makeup for all the girls and all my friends, and I've done wedding makeup here and there, but like nothing that brings in any money, and I never went to school for it. I just have always loved it, and always will. Which current unsolved case do I think will be solved? See, that's really tough. But one in particular that comes to mind is there's this girl, she was an influencer on Instagram who was recently murdered, and her cause of death just came out a couple days ago, and it showed that she was strangled. I guess she was strangled and then her body was found nude. It's really, really sad. Her name was Alexis Sharkey, and I believe that this one is going to be solved. I think that they're just working on it, but I do believe that this one's going to be solved. I don't want to say my thoughts on it because like I haven't looked into the case enough. But from what I do know, I think this one will be solved. And if you haven't looked into it, you should. It's really sad. Okay, what made me get into true crime? I got asked this one a couple of times, and I don't know like the number one thing that got me into true crime, if I'm honest with you. It's just something I've always been interested in. I grew up really into like macabre stuff and witchy stuff and horror and just all things dark I was into. My mom likes true crime. Every time I go and hang out with my gammy, which my mom's mom, my gam. Every time I go hang out with my gammy, what we do is we just drink mimosas and we watch ID. Like, that's what we do. So I'm not the only woman in my family who likes it. My sister watches my channel. I believe that's because she likes true crime also, and not just the whole support angle, but just, you know, I'm a woman. I'm a Scorpio. And it's just really interesting. What can I say? Why do any of us like true crime? Because we're freaking weird. Ooh, this is a good one. What older case that's currently unsolved would I like to be solved? This one's tough, and I got asked this a few times, so I'm gonna list off a couple of them, because I do have a couple. I don't have just one. I can't choose just one, because if I'm gonna say just one, like the biggest one that I think in a non-selfish way, like the majority of people want to know what happened to JonBenet Ramsey. A lot of people would like to know what happened to Elisa Lam. I'm one of those people. I want to know what happened to both of those people so badly, obviously. I also, like, as far as something that's not super old, but that I really wish would be solved, the Delphi murders break my heart. No, you're not. You're not. The Delphi murders are so freaking sad, and if you're not familiar, you should look into it. It's horrifying. I'd love to know who actually killed the 3 kids that the West Memphis 3 were convicted of killing, because I think they have an idea, but I don't believe that that'll ever be solved. And the case that, like, really sticks with me personally is the Powell family case. Like, we know for sure that Josh Powell did it. Like, we know Josh Powell did it. But I want them to have proof, and I want his name to be said. I want it said. I want them to say that he did it. I want to know if his brother helped. I want to know if his dad knew. That whole family was so screwed up, and what he did was so screwed up. I've never done a video on this case, but this is one of those cases that it makes me nuts, and I want justice for that whole family, and I want Susan Powell's body to be found, because it makes me insane. Ooh, what case has really stuck with me or affected me? I have a couple of these. As far as, like, affected me a lot, I have 2. First, the Chris Watts case. That one just, if you saw that video, you probably saw that I had a lot of trouble with it, especially when I was talking about the girls, and I did start to cry, and I cried a lot researching that case and filming that case, and it was one of the first ones I did, like, pretty early on in doing true crime, so I was worried that maybe true crime content was going to be too much for me for a moment, but it was just that case. I have trouble with cases with kids, I'm finding. And now in the day of technology the way it is, being able to see home videos of them singing and playing is just, like, incredibly difficult. And also, I haven't done a video on the West Memphis 3, but looking into that case was incredibly difficult for me because I made the mistake of looking up autopsy photos of these kids. Do not ever do that. Don't do it, because I literally, after that, the night that I looked them up, when I laid in bed after, every time I closed my eyes, I saw this kid's face, and it was really, really difficult to deal with. And when I'm talking about it, I can picture it, and it's like a lot. There's some things that we shouldn't see, and I'm pretty good at crime scene photos, but that stuck with me for whatever reason. Kids, man, I can't with kids. That's what it is. It really, really gets to me. What is my view on the death penalty? Okay, I'm not sure. And it's a divisive topic, obviously. I know a lot of people for religious reasons think that it's wrong. I'm not religious at all. For me, I have an issue with the idea of the death penalty just simply because there's a lot of innocent people that get put in jail, particularly people of color. And the idea of somebody innocent being put to death really deters me from wanting to advocate for the death penalty. However, there are definitely some people that we have full-blown proof confessions, all the evidence is there, that I think, like, I want to be dead, but that's an emotional response, like Chris Watts, I want to be dead. That guy, Jodi Arias, you know? But without, like, 100%, it's an imperfect system, and I don't think we should kill people in an imperfect system. But with that said, like, some people do, I think, deserve to die for the things that they've done. All right, this one is a little bit of a long one. How did you meet your husband? The way you talk about him makes it obvious you're fiercely protective and in love. Yes, thank you. I got this question a lot, too. I was surprised at how many people were curious about how I met my love. My husband's name is Chris. You are absolutely right about the fiercely in love thing. He is my favorite person on the entire planet. I could not exist without him. He is my best friend in the entire world. He's just the best. If you guys met him, you would like him. He's just one of those people that's just so just great. He's funny, he's nice, he always makes me laugh. It's just good. We met on MySpace at the end of 2009. So to age me, we met online. We had a mutual friend because I was living in the high desert, which is like 2 hours from LA. He lived in LA, and I had a friend who grew up in the desert who then moved to LA, met Chris, so we had a mutual friend. We met online, met in person. Fell in love. We met on Christmas Day, 2009. It was awesome, and we've been making out ever since. You mentioned being from Missouri. As a Missouri girl myself, did you grow up in a rural area or a big city? So, I was born in Missouri. I don't believe I lived there very long, as far as I know. I know that I was born in Missouri. We moved to California. We moved to Kansas for a hot second, and we lived in Kansas City, which I guess is technically like more city, but it felt fucking hillbilly as hell. At least the area that I was in. And the family that I was in. And when I was young, we moved to California. So I don't really remember that part of my life. No, Missouri, not at all. Kansas, I remember like lightning bugs and being able to turn a Tootsie Pop into the gas station if it had a star on it to get a free Tootsie Pop. But that's pretty much my only memory of Texas. Kansas City, Missouri. I was born in Des Perez, or Des Paris, I don't know how it's pronounced, Missouri. What true crime books, audiobooks, videos, or movies do I recommend? I love when you shared the case I got from that book from my childhood. Thank you. I've had that book for so long, and that case has been interesting to me for so long, so that's probably my favorite book. I also really like the book Cannibal, which I use for my Armin Maives video, which if you haven't seen, it's on a cannibal in Germany, but the guy that he ate, like, agreed to be eaten. It's wild. It's one of my very first ones. I know it hasn't been seen a lot, so if you haven't seen it, highly suggest. And that book is Cannibal. The Stranger Beside Me is also really good, about Ted Bundy. I've tried to read Helter Skelter. I can't get into it. The Richard Ramirez book is interesting, but it's poorly written. Movies. Okay. Obviously, Boys Don't Cry, the one on Brandon Tina. It's horrible. Gone Girl is a dramatic adaptation of a crime. It's actually based on Scott and Lacey Peterson, but in an alternate reality where I don't want to give too much away, but it's a pretty good one. It's definitely hella fiction, more so than fact. What other movies that are based on true crimes? You know what I find? I don't watch a ton of movie adaptations of actual true crime stories because when I see them dramatized like that, I have a really hard time with it. I don't know why. I have trouble separating that they're real people when I watch it that way. Like, because one that's really great is the show Waco, which if you haven't seen it and you like that, you should. I hysterically cried when watching Waco. Like, full on. It was way too much. I was like ugly crying, sobbing. I had makeup on. It was all over my face. I couldn't breathe. It was like a lot. But if you like that kind of stuff, then you should watch it. I'm more doing the documentary thing because it's more clinical and less personalized, which works for me to separate myself, which you have to do when you look into so many cases. Did I learn any musical instrument growing up? No. I know when I was like in elementary school, I played violin, I think, but nothing like stuck with me there. In college, I played guitar. I took a guitar class, which was only a couple years ago because I went to college later in life. I'm still in college. And my boss got me a guitar for Christmas, and I took a guitar class and I aced it, but retained zero of the skill. I'm just not a very musical person. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I guess what I'm telling you is the answer is no. Do I sing alone or to myself? I sing alone and to myself all the time. I sing in the shower all the time. I like to sing. I'm just not good at it. But yes, I sing all the time. I got a question from the same person. What kind of music do I like? I like a lot of different types of music, and it depends on what it's for. Like what I want to see live and like shower music are totally different vibes. Shower music, I have a playlist of love songs, and it's mostly like acoustic. I've got the Cranberries, Tracy Chapman, stuff like that. Jewel. But then for live music, I love thrash metal. That is my bread and butter. Do I like to read or write? I like to do both. I used to read a lot more than I do now. I just don't have time anymore. Unless I'm doing it for a video, I do not have time to just sit and read for enjoyment. I love to write though, and it's something that I've actually always been decent at. Even in my job, I get given more difficult writing tasks, like more creative writing tasks, because it's something that I've always been pretty good at. But as far as reading, I just don't have as much time to do it anymore. But I own a lot of books. I have read a lot. It's just been a while. Ooh, favorite movie or TV show that's inspired by a book? So many movies and TV shows are inspired by books. Dexter, great, inspired by a book. The Exorcist, inspired by a book. What else? Oh, it's so hard. There's just so many. The Notebook, A Walk to Remember, inspired by books. There's way too many for me to really answer this, and off the top of my head, I can't think of what my favorite would be. I'm going through my favorite movies, and none of my favorite movies are actually inspired by books. So I hope that was a good list. I'm so sorry. I got another question about what type of music do I like, but I answered that. Do I have any favorite songs? I have a million favorite songs. I have more favorite songs than favorite, like, our albums. English is hard. I guess I would need a genre to pick a favorite song because I have different favorites from all different genres. What am I listening to a lot right now? For some reason, I keep listening to, lately I've been listening to the song Love Fool by the Cardigans a lot. Suede Head from Morrissey has been playing kind of often. And Foolish Games by JOAH. I've been in like a love song kind of mood. I don't know what that's about, but... Oh, by the way, the review on this is that it's good. You get like that heat, like a spice right in the back of the throat, but it tastes like a dry cider. Love it. All right, these ones are all from the same person and they're themed and I loved it when I read it. It is the theme. Okay, the category is 90s pop culture. First, who did Courtney Shane kill? She killed Liz. She killed the teen dream. Deal with it. What is my favorite part of Airheads? I love when he's like, I don't give a fuck about the Beatles. But he should, because everyone should give a fuck about the Beatles. And I also love seeing Adam Sandler really young and in a role that was more secondary than, you know, the Happy Madison type things. I like seeing him taken down a peg, I guess. How did Kurt Cobain die, and will Courtney Love ever admit how much she spent? You are shady, but I love it. So here's the thing. I want to do a video on this because I know the basics on Kurt Cobain's suicide case. I am not sure what I think happened. I don't know yet. I have to look into it further because I have ideas of what I think, but these are not like reliable sources, you know what I'm saying? And anytime I do an actual video, I'm like source checking like crazy. Check, double check, triple check. And right now I've just got ideas from conspiracy nuts without any evidence. So I do want to do a video on it. If she did it, do I think she'll ever admit how much she paid? No, why would she? Why would she ever? There's no reason for it. She'll take it to her grave. We're on to page 2. So this is the one that I wasn't going to answer initially because it was the first one that came into my list, but I guess I got to answer it now, and it is there any case that I will not cover and why? The answer is yes, I think so. So I had two of my friends were murdered in 2008, and I've toyed with the idea of doing a video on it. But at this point in time, I don't think I will. Of course, as life happens and things change, maybe I'll change my mind. Who really knows? But right now, that's the case that I would not do. And why? Because it's a little close to home. You know, it's a little hard to separate yourself objectively when it's somebody that you knew/know. So do I think that like a video should not be made on it? No, of course not. If another channel did it, I'd probably watch it. But as far as me sitting and doing it, not now. Do I like art? Yeah, I mean, I think everybody likes art. Like, art is also very, very subjective. So art could be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I do like art. I consider music to be art. I consider makeup to be art. As far as like, do I have a favorite artist? I don't think I do, actually, in the traditional sense. I have a lot of people that I follow, a lot of photographers, a lot of makeup artists, stuff like that. But as far as like an actual favorite artist, I don't think I do have one, actually. Do you? Who is your favorite artist and why? What is my favorite color or color combo for my eyes? This is a really good question. I really like forest green, like sage green and mustard on my eyes. It's like so beautiful, but I also love pink and purple together on my eyes. Yeah, it's probably between those ones. I do neutrals on the daily more. But as far as like, if I don't think consciously of like what I'm gonna do beforehand, and I'm going for something that's not super bright, like the pink and purple, I almost always do the mustards and the greens because I think it's just so pretty on almost everyone. Love the looks inspired by albums. How did I come up with that idea? Which, if you're not following me on Instagram, what I do sometimes is I'll take like a album cover and I'll take the colors from it and create a makeup look that matches it. I'm actually pretty sure that my friend David suggested it, or at least he suggested doing themed makeup looks. But as far as if he gave me the idea, he might have, or I might have just thought of it. I can't actually remember, but I love doing them too. Thank you. It's been a while since I've done one, just because I've been so busy with YouTube, to be honest, especially because I started work again at my day job after being furloughed for several months. So I've been really trying to make sure I don't miss any uploads. So I haven't done it in a while, but I would like to, because they're one of my favorite things to do. It gets me out of my comfort zone, makes me more creative with colors that I wouldn't normally put together, so I really like them too. What are my hobbies? Makeup, movies. When you could leave the house and go places, I went to a lot of shows, music, local bands. A lot of my friends are musicians, so I'd go and see them play, go see other bands that I like play. I like going to the dog park. Like to watch my dog play with other dogs. My husband hates going to the dog park though, so we don't go that much. But I love to see other people play with dogs. I don't have like a ton of hobbies. I don't know what my hobbies are, but also I do have a ton of hobbies, according to my husband. I like to crochet. I like to watch TV. I don't know. What is a hobby? What is a good hobby? What is a good luxury? Socks. It's from TikTok, I'm sorry. TikTok, is that a hobby? Because I do it every day. Are there any conspiracies that I have on unsolved cases? Okay, so I am not really the type to subscribe to conspiracy theories. Don't get me wrong. I will definitely, how pretty is that going to be, by the way? I will definitely like entertain them to a point. And there's some that I believe are, you know, pretty likely, but I am such a like fact-based person that I can never be like, that's for sure what happened, when I do not know for sure that happened. For example, JonBenet Ramsey. Many people think it was her brother Burke. I think it's definitely possible, but I can't say it was Burke because I don't know. None of us know. That's the point. Elisa Lam. A lot of people think that she was killed by somebody in the hotel. That sounds very likely, but I don't know. I just don't know for sure, and I can't say I'm the type of person I have to know for sure. I have to. But with that said, I am one to sit and I'll talk to you about conspiracies of what I think, but I'll always say like, but I don't know. Like, I don't think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, but I don't know that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, but like, I'm pretty sure he didn't kill himself. You know, like that kind of thing. I'm that kind of person. I'm very non-committal unless I know for sure. That's just who I am as a person. How did I know my husband was going to be the guy that I married? That's a very good question. And I feel like it's one of those questions that I just do not know the answer to. Like, it's one of those things that's so guttural. And if you haven't experienced it, it's really hard to explain. But he is just, I cannot picture my life without him. And not only can I not picture it without him, I don't want to. And I think that's really important. Like, I do not want to live a day on this earth where he is not here. And I've felt like that since meeting him. I've wanted him around always. Even when I'm pissed at him, I want to be mad at him, but I want him to be sitting there so I can give him dirty looks about it until he apologizes. Like, he's my best friend. And it's so easy to love him. It's effortless. So it's really, really a guttural thing that I can't really explain. I wish I could. I know people just say that like it's just unspoken, but it's really, really true, because I couldn't tell you what one thing made me be like, oh yeah, for sure. We just met, got together, and stayed together, and have never wanted to leave each other. And we'll, even to this day, we'll lay in bed at night, and we'll be laughing about some stupid shit on TikTok, and just get overwhelmed with that feeling of, man, you fucking rule. I'm glad that I'm with you. And we'll just like ask each other, like, isn't it so crazy that after so much time together, we're still so into each other? And it is crazy, but it's just true. We are so into each other. I don't know how to explain it. We just got very lucky. That's what I think. I think we both got really lucky to find each other. Do I want kids? It's a very good question. My mom's gonna watch this and be like, she's been wanting me to have kids since I was 18. I used to always answer this question with a no. Most of my life. I was never that little girl who wanted to grow up and be a mom. That's never been me. However, I'm 32 years old, and in the last year, I've been more open to the idea. I can picture that life. So yeah, why not? Sure. One though. Only one? Only one. And that's assuming I can still even conceive. I am 32. And who knows? But if I can't, I can't, and it won't break me. But sure. Why not? One's fine. Ooh, my mom's gonna text me right after I put this up and be like, excuse me, so where is it? How did I get into doing YouTube? Okay, YouTube. I started doing YouTube with just makeup specifically, and I did that for several years, and I loved it. I'd always done makeup, always posted photos of makeup, and I used to do the pictorials, as I said, on MySpace, but I started doing it on YouTube after watching Kathleen Lights, which if you don't watch makeup YouTubers specifically, she's so cute. She's precious, she's wonderful, you should go watch her. I started watching her videos, and I felt very, I felt a lot of kinship with her. I felt very similar to her. I still feel that way. I still watch her videos every time she posts one, even if it's something I don't care about. We don't have the same skin type. We don't have the same anything, but I love to watch her videos because for some reason, I feel like we'd be friends. I feel like we would be friends. And watching her videos made me be like, you know what? Just do it. Just do it. Just start a YouTube channel. So I did, and I've done it ever since, and here we are. It's been 4 years since you looked at me. Okay, we got a multi-parter. What has been my favorite, worst, most interesting, and hardest cases I've covered? Okay, let's start with favorite. So favorite would have to be the cases from my Halloween series because I felt that in doing those videos, I could be a little more relaxed because when I do my true crime videos, I'm very, oh, thank you for joining us for as long as you did. I appreciate it. For my true crime videos, I'm very hyper aware of the fact that I am talking about a human being's life, somebody who lived and died in a horrible way. And I'm really careful to not add too much commentary, personality, humor to things like this because I don't want to ever be disrespectful. And I feel like some people already, well, not I feel like, I know that some people already find the doing makeup and true crime together thing disrespectful. I personally don't, otherwise obviously I wouldn't do it. But I feel like I need to be careful because I'm already, in some people's opinions, walking on eggshells. But when I did my Halloween series, because it's all supernatural stuff that isn't definitive, isn't proven, you know, it's not something that I can look at and be like, this person definitely had this happen to them. I felt like I could be a little more loosey-goosey with it, and I liked that a lot. Favorite one in particular was probably the Exorcist one. That was the very first one I filmed, and it was just so much fun. I also really liked doing the Annabelle one. And then for true crime, I really liked the Jeepers Creepers one. I like horror. Worst case. Junko Furuta, man. That's the worst thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. It's just, she went through so much for no reason, and it's incredibly, it's just the worst thing I've ever read about in my entire life, to this day. Most interesting. I really find Armin Meiwes to be incredibly interesting because he was just, he did something awful, obviously. Killing and eating a person is pretty messed up, but he did it in such, a respectful way. He, asked the man permission and then fulfilled the guy's sexual desires beforehand, even though they weren't really things he wanted to do. He wouldn't murder somebody. He would only kill somebody who wanted to be killed. He was very, his brain is just incredibly interesting to me. And then also the, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow case is incredibly interesting to me just because there's cults and people like that are just, obviously, they're interesting to everyone. Speaking of cult, if you've never seen the show The Following, watch that. And the case that was hardest for me to cover was still the Chris Watts one, as I said before. That was just impossible to cover, dude. I don't know how anybody can talk about that case and not just get upset, because it's so upsetting. Fuck that guy, dude. All right, these eyes got a little weird, didn't they? I don't really love it, but it kind of is what it is at this point. What got me into the true crime scene? That's a good one, since I was doing, you know, beauty makeup prior to switching to true crime. So it was something I was always interested in. As you know, it's something I'm going to college for. I'm in criminal justice, all that jazz. And I always wanted to make the switch, but I really had terrible imposter syndrome, and I don't know if imposter syndrome is really the right word. I didn't think that I was the person to do it. I was worried that I couldn't do it in a way that was respectful. I was worried that I couldn't present the information in a way that was easy to understand. I felt like I would get things wrong. I was very nervous that I wasn't going to be good at this. And I wanted to combine true crime and makeup, but I was really worried that this could not be done in a way that was respectful as well. So once I got the nerve to even attempt it, once I got over all of that insecurity, I went online and I tried and I searched like true crime and makeup because I wanted to see if it had been done and if it could be done properly. And I came upon, obviously, Bailey Sarian because she is the #1 biggest one. Came upon Brittany Vaughn because she is another girl who does it and does a really good job with it. And I came upon Tina McGon, I think is how you pronounce her name, and she's actually the first person to ever do it. She actually did it before Bailey Sarian. Everybody thinks Bailey Sarian did it first, but this girl, Tina, is actually the first one to ever combine the two. So I was like, okay, this can be done in a way that is respectful. And then I, you know, sat down and I started to do it. And the very first one I ever did was taken down because it was not as good as I wanted it to be. And then after that, I went with the Gainesville Ripper, which is like such an interesting case to me. And the rest is history. And I don't feel anymore like I'm not equipped to do it. I sometimes have days where I feel like I shouldn't do the true crime and makeup because I don't, the comments about it being disrespectful, even though I don't think it is. If anything, I think it helps people that otherwise wouldn't get into true crime and wouldn't learn about these cases. It helps them learn about it because it combines two elements, you know what I mean? But besides that, I think I do a pretty good job at it. I wouldn't say I'm the best. Stephanie Harlow's the best. If you don't watch Stephanie Harlow, go watch Stephanie Harlow. She's the one I aspire to be. If I could collab with anyone, it would be her. She's the best of them. But I think I do a pretty good job. I do. One for me. Are there any types of cases that I avoid or would flat out refuse to do? This is actually a really good question because I do have some cases that I avoid. I do not like doing unsolved cases at all because I feel like with unsolved cases, first off, I like closure and I don't like discussing theories without fact. As I said, I'm very much a fact-based person. So in cases where they're unsolved, the majority of what you have is theories, and I would never want to go on and say a theory about somebody like, I think this person might have done it and this is why, and it turns out that they didn't, because that would just be so horrible. And just being wrong on something and having it come out that I was incorrect because it wasn't solved yet is just not for me. And there are some people who do it so well. I'm not to say that I don't like those types of videos because I love those videos. I think the best for unsolved is Danielle Hallen. I watch every video she put out. She put one out today actually that I'm gonna watch hopefully tonight. I don't really know. I have 2 videos to edit now. This one and I'll give you a little sneak peek on the DC sniper case. I did a video on that. It'll probably come out after this one. But it's just not my favorite. Not to say I'd never do it because I did one on Alyssa Turney, and that is technically an unsolved case, and I know that there's some people who want me to cover certain ones, and they're on my list to look into, but they're not my favorite to cover, and they're ones that I don't seek out often. Do we like that? I think we like that. Jack, what do you think? Do you like it? He doesn't care about me. I gotta wash my hands in a second. This is a lot. That glitter is almost completely dried out is the problem, and I'm gonna use it until it's dug into the ground, till it's dead, because it's like $20 for one glitter liner, which is outrageous. Does my husband mind the content I put up on YouTube? No, I don't think so. He doesn't watch it, but I don't think he has any issue with it. He's not a true crime guy. He's interested in some cases, like he's interested in the John List case. He's interested in, that's pretty much it, the John List case. I know that, I got him to watch Mindhunter, which was great because he doesn't watch anything like that. I got him to watch Mindhunter and he loved it. I know the other day he was laying on the couch and he was scrolling and he's like, oh, did you hear they found out about the cause of death from that influencer? And I was like, yeah. So he's like this, but it's not his favorite thing, but I know he's proud. And I know that he sees how happy I am because like I love doing this. I really do. It's weird how much I love it. I love doing it. I love connecting with people. I love researching these cases. I feel like I'm on to something. And he can see that. And I know he likes that. And he gets excited for me and all of my excitement. So, because he's the best, like I said. All right, I'm back. I got clean hands. I got a second beverage, and I looked at myself in a mirror from a distance, and I can't say that I love what's happening here, but also I know you gotta trust the process, and it might get better. I just gotta wait it out, and we gotta hope for the best here, so fingers crossed for me. They can't all be winners, I get it, but I would like this to turn out cute because it has potential. We're just not there yet. Ooh, okay, so the next one is if I had to pick my favorite serial killer, who would it be? And I know that you included, for lack of a better word, favorite. Now, that's a good question. Prior to doing my Richard Ramirez video, I would have said Richard Ramirez, but in learning more about him, he's a fucking loser ass bitch. They're all losers, don't get me wrong, but he is like such a fucking loser. I also used to really think H.H. Holmes was like incredibly interesting, but then I watched Stephanie Harlow's video on him, and he also seems like a little baby back bitch. Right now, I think I want to say that I'm most interested in Ed Kemper, who I plan to do a video on in the future. And this is based on what I know about him now, which isn't like, I mean, I know all the basics, but I haven't researched him, so I could learn about him and think he sucks too. I'm really interested in Danny Rolling, like the Gainesville Ripper, the video I did, one of the first, I think it's the first one that's uploaded. He's really interesting to me. BTK, I want to do a video on him too. I already have a file on him. He's incredibly interesting. Ted Bundy is interesting. I feel like he's a little overrated for me though, and I'm not the type of person that's usually like, everyone likes him, so I don't, but something about him irks me. Especially the way the judge talked to him in his trial. Irks me. I hope that answered your question. Let me know your favorite down below, all of you. All of you, because then I'll know which videos to cover. I would love to know that. Ooh, do I have any interest in talking about ghost stories, paranormal stories, or haunting stories in videos? Yes, because that's what I did for Halloween and I loved it and you guys seem to like it. So absolutely. I don't want to do it in place of morbid makeup though, because I really, really like doing this. So maybe it's something that I could add in here and there. If that's something people would be interested in, let me know down below if you would be interested in that, anybody. If enough of you want it, I could definitely try to work that in. I'm not really sure how the format could work, so I'd have to like look into it and see, but I definitely, like, I love that stuff, dude. That is what I'm into. I'm into spooky, horror, aliens. Oh, I love all of that stuff. So if that's something you guys want, sure, let's party. I'd have to like think of a format we could do it in and like come up with a schedule and see how many cases there are. But definitely it's something that I'm interested in. What made me choose true crime? I think I went over that. It's just like the call of the Scorpio woman. What can I say? How do I pick my backdrops for each video? Okay, I'm gonna be very real with you here. There's not a lot of method to this madness. It's more of what I can do that, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sitting on my living room floor. This is my couch. So I put whatever I can on my couch that makes it look more interesting and doesn't wash me out or make me disappear. My favorite was the little white twinkle lights, but now that my hair is dark, that doesn't work. That's the only reason I changed it. This works best like a white background because I wear dark clothes and I have dark hair, so it makes me pop. And it also makes it so that the animals can make their little debuts. So I do enjoy that. The goal one day is to have a place with a second room where I can have a desk set up and have it set up all the time. And then we could get real interesting with our backdrops and have things that I actually like. I miss my backdrop from when I filmed on my phone because I had all my little like pictures on the wall and knickknacks and like prints of things that I liked. I preferred that, but that doesn't work with this setup, with this good camera. And if we want good quality, this is the background. So let me know if you have any suggestions or what your favorite backdrop is that I've done. Just keeping in mind that like I need a bright color to make myself pop because Groban likes his ladies to pop. This is a good one. Do I do a dry run of my makeup the day before a video or do I just sit down and hope for the best? Okay, today I've sat down and hoped for the best, but typically that's not how I operate. more often than not, I don't do a dry run, like I don't sit down and put on makeup or sit down and draw anything out beforehand, but I do come up with a color story beforehand so that I can bring out the right palettes, and I also compare it to videos that I've done recently, so I'm not putting up 5 videos where I do sage green and and mustard yellow. Otherwise, you guys might not be as interested because the makeup's the same every time. So I sit down, I come up with a color that I haven't done in a little while. Sometimes I'll come up with a shape. More often than not, I end up in this shape just because this works best for my eyes. And then as far as like how it's actually gonna look, that happens on the fly. Like however it decides to look is how it decides to look. But I do choose a color beforehand because since I'm filming on my living room floor, all my makeup and my whole makeup collection is in my bedroom. So I have to just bring out with me what I'm gonna need. So I plan all of that the day of. Like I pick the color story the night before, I pack my stuff to move into the living room. It's like a whole production. Just setting up to film takes an hour. So it's great. Love it. Love this for me. I love the way this cake is cut. How did I meet my husband? We already did that one. How long have we been married? We got married in 2016, I think. Yeah, we're going on 5 years this year. 2016, sorry, I spaced out. And we met December 25th, 2009. So we have 2 anniversaries. First time we met and made out, and then when we got married. But either way, we've been together. It'll be 11 years this year. What is my favorite makeup brand? That is a very good question. And I don't really know what the answer to that is because, hear me out. If you had asked me last year or the year before, I would have probably said ColourPop without any sort of hesitation. However, in the last like year or so, I feel like we're falling out of love, okay? We were real committed, we were really obsessed with each other, but lately I've been like, I don't know how I feel. But with that said, I haven't found a replacement, so we're still hanging out, we're still kicking it until I find somebody that's better. I don't know what it is, I'm just falling out of love with like, I don't have any specific brand that I love. I also really like Hourglass, but they're not like the most inclusive brand in the world, and they're also hella expensive. So I don't know if I have any like favorite brand right now. If I had to answer, it would be ColourPop, but that's just because I have nothing else that I could sub it in with right now. I have different favorite brands for different things. How about that? I have like a favorite concealer that's from one brand. I have a favorite setting powder that's from another brand. I have a favorite eyeshadow palette that's from another brand. So it's a mixed bag for me. I'm not committed to any of them. Why don't I wear foundation? Okay. I don't wear foundation because I hate how it feels. I hate how it feels. I used to always wear foundation. If you look back at old makeup videos, I always wore foundation. I stopped a couple years ago. At first, I hated how I looked without it. I felt like my skin was so red. But first I switched to powder foundation, which I actually use today. I'm starting to use it again, and it's really, really pretty. But overall, like, I don't think I need it anymore. I feel like I used to be really insecure about my skin. I feel like my skin's pretty good. I feel like it looks just as good without it, and I don't have to feel like I have foundation all over my face, which I hate that feeling. I've never liked it. Is there any case that totally gripped me that I'm still obsessed with to this day? Yes. The Powell's, the Powell family case has just got me in its grips, and it always will. Favorite color is yellow. I love the color yellow. And I love people who are yellow, which not a lot of you are going to know what that means, but if you do, you do, and if you don't, I'm sorry. My profession when I'm not in quarantine is I am a paralegal. I just started working again actually Monday. It's Saturday when I'm filming this. Last Monday is when I just started working again. It's fine. It's a fine job. It pays the bills. Somebody asked my husband's job, but I haven't asked him if he'd be okay with that, so I'm not going to answer. I'm sorry. I did write your question down. I just don't know if he wants people online to know what he does for a living, so I'll ask him, and if so, then in another date I will answer that. Am I from Cali? I have lived in California my entire life. Mostly I lived in Kansas City for a second. I lived in Missouri when I was born, but I have lived most of my life in California and consider myself a Californian. Californian? Californian. This one is how many eyeshadow palettes do I own? I'm not 100% sure. I haven't counted them in a while. I actually need to do a declutter. I have so many that I do not use, but I believe the last time I counted them, it was somewhere around 60. Please don't judge me. I know. BoxyCharm and doing beauty on on YouTube for so many years, I acquired a lot, okay? I have hardly been buying makeup in the last year because I'm not doing reviews all the time and I'm just doing true crime. and it's been a lot better for me mentally, and also because like I wasn't working for a year. I couldn't afford to be buying every single thing that came out. So I own probably around 60 eyeshadow palettes. Ooh, same person wants to know if you can see my makeup collection in another video. Now, hear me out. Maybe one day, but now is not the time, and the reason for that is because I live in a very small apartment and I don't have a lot of storage, so my makeup isn't set up in any way that I would feel comfortable showing anybody. It's just essentially in like totes, and it's not a cute thing, but maybe someday if I ever find a way to make it look not so absolutely disgusting, that I would. I do, if you go back on my channel, I have decluttering videos where I show a lot of it, and I know I have palette collection videos and highlight collection videos back from forever ago, so if you want to go and try to get an idea of what that looks like, you can. But for now, the answer is no, but that's not to say that I would never do it. I just want it to look nicer. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed by it. This next one is good. It's who do I think is the worst killer that I've read about? This is such a hard one to answer because they're all so shitty for different reasons. Who's fresh in my brain shitty? Right now, it could just be because it's fresh in my brain, but man, Richard Ramirez was a really, really shitty shitbag, dude. And he did some of the most horrible things that I had ever heard of. I wanted to say Junko Furuta's killers, but those were several men, and I couldn't rank them individually because I don't know who specifically inflicted what wounds on her. But as far as like one person that's fresh in my mind, that's a piece of shit and real bad, I'll say Richard Ramirez, but that's subject to change. And I also don't want to say it because I feel like that's what he would want people to say, and he doesn't deserve to get anything he wants. He's dead. We're moving on. These are good. Okay, the next one is there any case I've covered that made me cry or gave me nightmares? My hair's fucked up. I'm sorry, you guys. It's like, I need to wash it. A case that messed me up or gave me nightmares. Yes, Chris Watts and the West Memphis 3. Those two were a lot for me. I also cried when I did the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell case. I effing hate those people, especially Lori Vallow so much. So I cried with that case. Yeah, those are the two. Those are the ones I'm gonna go with. There have been a lot that have affected me, but those have been the worst. I'm sorry if this is boring. I'm now starting to get insecure about this video. Like I said, sometimes I get insecure about what I'm doing. I hope this is giving you what you wanted and it's as entertaining and that I'm answering the questions you wanted me to answer. If there's anything that I answered that you want me to expand on further, please let it be down below. Please leave it down below because I'd love to expand further. And as you know, or maybe you don't, I do try to answer every question that anyone ever leaves me. And I will do that as long as I am physically able and it is realistic for me to do so. Which killer would I like to throat punch? This is a great question. I would like to throat punch Chris Watts. I would like to throat punch Jodi Arias. And I would like to slap Josh Powell in the face. Not throat punch him, slap him in the face because he's a little baby back bitch. But he's dead, so I can't. But I would love to have done so before he died. How did I feel when I had the funk, which I think she meant COVID. And how long was I down? Okay. I felt like actual trash. It was really, really bad. However, my husband got it a lot worse than I did. So I was his nurse. So even though I felt pretty crappy, I didn't have the luxury to like be down because instinctually I am a caregiver and I have to take care of people that I care about. So though I felt awful, I was also up a lot and doing a lot. But as far as like how long was I down, I think it was 2 weeks. There was only one day during the whole time where I literally could not get up, and that's fortunately a day that my husband was doing a little bit better. He got worse again, but he started doing a little bit better, so that day he was able to fend for himself, but it was not a joke at all. It was absolutely horrible. It was the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. It was the most stressed I've ever been in my life. Heart beating fast, not able to breathe, worried that my husband was going to fall asleep and not wake up because he's gonna just stop breathing. Like, that's the fears that I had. So it was a really good time, obviously. But we're better. We're a lot better. All we have now is a little bit of a lingering cough and a lingering, like, sometimes I'll be sitting at the computer and I'll be like, but it's mostly good. Thank you for asking, because it was Scary. Lost my sense of smell. Couldn't taste anything. It was wild. Do I have a day job other than YouTube? If so, what is it? And do I like it? So do I have a job other than YouTube? Absolutely, I have to if I want to have a roof over my head. Ooh, what is my favorite place to visit and why? Love this question. I love two places that are very different from one another. I love Portland, Oregon so much. That's where me and my husband actually went on our honeymoon because we both love it so much. And I also have had the luxury in my life pre-pandemic to go to Maui, Hawaii. I thought that I couldn't love a place as much as Portland until I went to Maui, Hawaii. So the vibes are obviously quite different. If you're unfamiliar, I'm sure everybody knows about Hawaii, but Portland is like a rainy city. There's no it's completely the opposite of Hawaii, but I love both of them they just both make me feel some sort of way. Like Portland makes me feel like I'm home and Hawaii makes me feel like I want to be home. Like I want to live there. But I'm also incredibly allergic to the sun. I have a weak bloodline. I'm so sorry. It sounds laughable because it is laughable, but it's also awful because when we went to Hawaii, I ended up in a full body rash in addition to a sunburn. A full body rash where my entire skin broke out in hives. Bumpy from eyes down everywhere that the sun saw. And the last day we were there, I had to wear a long sleeve and leggings because the sun, and like a floppy hat because the sun could no longer touch me because I was covered in hives. It's a great time. However, I would still move there and just deal if I could afford it. Where is your guys' favorite place? And tell me why, and tell me why I should go there. Convince me to visit. I need to get on more planes. I'm so afraid of planes. This is a really good question that I don't have an answer for, and I wish I did, and it's, what is the best advice anyone has ever given me? And I don't know what the answer to this question is. I wish I did, because I want to give you some like words of wisdom here. My best advice, like if, I don't know, I want to give something here. What my best advice that I could ever give somebody, I think what I want to do instead here is, I would say, to try to be understanding that other people do not have the same experiences and therefore don't feel the same way you do about every single thing. So expecting any person to respond to any given situation the way you would and thinking that if they don't, that they are somehow wrong is a flaw, a personality flaw on your part, because you have to understand that everyone has different life experiences and different connotations to things than you do. So there is no right way to respond to things in general. It might feel like, oh, that they're being a dick or they're doing this wrong, and that's just because to you, you wouldn't respond this way. That doesn't mean that they are wrong. That just means that they are different. And I think that that's important because I try to take everything that way personally in my life, where I try not to be like, what the heck, just because somebody's doing something different than I would, because they have a different experience than I have had. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Also, one other thing, and this is something I live by super hard. You are allowed to feel anything you want to feel. Every single feeling you have is totally valid. However, what matters is the way you respond and the way you act on those feelings. You can feel whatever you want. It does not matter. It's all valid and your feelings are important. But how you choose to act on those feelings does matter. And that's something that I think more people need to keep in mind. This next one's actually kind of funny. It's from a girl that I know. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that we met when I worked at Kmart. I've had a lot of different jobs, but she asked, if I'm murdered, can you please tell my story? The answer, dear, is absolutely. I will gladly tell your story. But in exchange, if I'm ever murdered, you have to start a YouTube channel strictly to tell my story. So if we can agree to do that for each other, then yes, I 100% agree to tell your story. But you know what, I would tell it anyway. Also, thank you for binging all my videos. I saw all your comments. So, have I ever moved in my life, or have I stayed where I grew up? I moved 10 years ago. I moved to the LA area because this is where my husband grew up. I grew up 2 hours from here in an absolute little dust bowl shit town. If you live there, I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk shit. For me, it was not the journey That's why I moved. LA is also not the journey, but this is where the love of my life is, so that's why I am here. So yes, I moved. At one point, I also moved down by the beach, moved back home. Now I'm in LA, and I can't wait till the day that I'm not here. The next question is, will I ever do videos that are not true crime related? You know, I don't know. Do you guys, I assume you who are asking because you would like me to. So with that said, what kind of video would you want to see? And for everybody else, would you want to see anything non-true crime related? And if so, what would it be? I used to do non-true crime related videos. That was what I did mostly. I don't want to say I never will, but I definitely prefer doing the crime videos. That's what I like doing. That is what you guys seem to like to see, but I'm not close-minded to the idea of doing anything, to be honest. I'm a pretty open person. What do you have in mind? Turn the page. We're almost done though, guys. Thank you for just so many questions. It's blowing my mind that anyone gives a shit about literally anything about me, so. The next question is, if I could solve any one unsolved case, which would it be? And then you said, P.S. I love your vids. And I did already answer this, but I just wanted you to see and feel acknowledged that I did see your question. And P.S. I love your face. And thank you for being here all the time. And that goes to all of you who are like so awesome. There's so many of you that are just always on all of my videos, always watch it, always comment. And honestly, you guys are the real ones. I have such appreciation. I can't explain. I know everyone says that, but I get it now because I feel it to my bones. That's why I do my absolute best to always respond to comments. Whenever I get a message on Instagram, I'm always talking to whoever messages me. Like, I do everything I can because I really want you to feel the appreciation and not just hear it. Has there been any true crime video that I sat down to try to film or research and couldn't because it was just too messed up of a case? The answer to that is actually no. I look into them beforehand, and I mean, if there was going to be a case that's going to break me and make me think like nothing could be worse, that would be Junko Furuta. And so no, I do tend to stay away. I'm sure you guys have noticed I don't do a ton of videos with kids. Those are really challenging for me. I already said that like 100 times. That's not to say if you recommend a video with a child, I'm not going to look into it. I have several on my list. My sister has even recommended a video with a kid that I plan to look into. I know I had a girl comment, I think it was yesterday, that her and her mom watch my videos and they recommended a case on a child. So I definitely add them to my list, but they tend to be the ones that are a little harder. But no, I'm pretty desensitized. I've learned to separate myself, which has been endlessly helpful. The compartmentalizing is very, very important. This question is actually super funny. And I don't mean to say it's funny, but I read it yesterday and it is, have I ever suffered from anxiety? I read this to my husband and his response, we were on the phone, and his response was, you are anxiety. So I'm not going to go hard into this, but the answer is yes. Oh no. Okay, if you know me in person, which not a lot of people here do, obviously. I suffer from some pretty bad anxiety. I don't want to get in like too many specifics, but yes, I do. I have it pretty hard. It affects my life in a lot of ways, and I cannot wait until the day that I can have health insurance so that I can get into therapy and hopefully, if necessary, even get on medication, because I would love to not have it dictate my life, but it does a little bit, and you know, it's fine. It's fine. So yes, the answer is yes. I am anxiety. One for the anxiety. And the last question I have before I get into some just like comments at the end is just, how are you? Which, thank you for asking. That's very, very sweet. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm feeling good. I'm excited for today. I've got a lot of work to do after this. I gotta edit this. I gotta edit another video. Have a couple drinks in me. I haven't drank that much this year because of the whole COVID thing. But I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty happy. Going back to work is weird but nice. Doing this is awesome. I've got several good videos coming your guys' way that I feel really confident about. The one that I'm editing right now is already like an hour long. It's probably going to be my longest one, and I'm sorry if you guys don't like those videos. Do you guys prefer shorter videos, like 20, 30 minutes, or do you prefer like the 45 to an hour ones? Because obviously not all cases have enough information to go into the 45 minutes to an hour one, but I know some people prefer those and some people are like, that's too much. So let me know down below what you think for you personally, and there is no wrong answer here. There's never a wrong answer. We're allowed to feel what we want to feel, right? Right. Oh my God, so this is at the end, so if the audio is a little bit weird, I just got the last question where you asked about my animals, and you said bonus points if they make an appearance. He's pissed. He just woke up. Oh my God, please, please. He's so mad. I love you. You're my whole life. Oh my God. That's Bowser. He's not participating. Fun fact about him. I got him when he was so small that he could not eat by himself or go to the bathroom, which if you've never had an animal that can't do that when they're babies, you have to like stimulate them. It's gross. I got him from a lady who I met when I worked at Food for Less, and I saved him from a pretty bad situation, and I had to nurse him and all that when he was a baby. And when he was a little bit older, he fell out of a 3-story window and miraculously only broke a leg. He is 10 years old, and he is the biggest pain in the ass of any of my animals, but I love him with my entire heart and my entire soul, but I also hate him because he sucks. Okay, this big boy, this is Dutter's cat. He does not like to be held, so he's not going to stay very long. He is the last one that we got in our family. He is our baby, though he is about the same age as Bows. We just adopted him from a shelter when he was a little bit older. He, again, is 10 years old. And this guy, when we moved into the apartment we are currently in, he actually ran away when we first moved in, and he was gone for 7 months before we found him at a cat flop house, which is basically a dumpster where there was a bunch of cat food, and that's where he was living for 7 months. I thought he was dead for sure. I cried a lot because he's my baby, but he's back with us. After 7 months, he came back, and Jack is not going to come back. My dog, his name is Jack. He's not going to come back and hang out with us, but you saw plenty of him in the background earlier, and he is my world and my baby and my love. I got him for my husband when we first got together. He's been through our entire relationship. We got him when he was only 3 months old. He was just a baby. We had to take him in and get him fixed and everything. He was the littlest guy, and when we had only had him a week, he got parvo and almost died, but he did survive, and he is now, he'll be 11 this year. We now call him Grandpa Jack because he is really grouchy. He has very, very much get off my lawn energy. He's just my entire heart, and I don't know what I'm going to do when he's not here. It breaks my heart to think about. I do not know what my current life looks like without these guys. So, Ciders is still here. Can you freaking believe this cat? Oh, another thing about him. When you pet him too much, he drools a lot. And it stinks so bad. He's our nasty boy. Bowsy, which is the white one, is the worst. He's just the worst. And then Jack is our actual baby. And Jack does this new thing now where anytime me and my husband kiss each other, he cries because no one is allowed to have any attention in this house but him. And if I leave the house now, because he got so attached to me during COVID with me being home all the time, he barks. So it's great. So I hope that that's everything you wanted on my animals. But you guys, that's all the questions. We made it. So, nope, wrong way. So many friggin' questions. You guys are awesome, dude. I have never felt more, I don't know, strangely appreciated or something. I don't know what the word is. I just never thought that anybody would care to sit and hear me answer questions about myself. I want to thank every single person who voted and also every person who submitted a question. You guys are just like the coolest people. And I just wanted to tell you guys, I told my husband about this and I was like, guess what was one of the most asked questions? And he's like, what? And I was like, a lot of people asked how we met. And I just wanted to add at the end, he wanted me to let you guys know that when I'm sorry. He basically sat on the phone with me and gave me the entire storyline of the movie Titanic, down to Billy Zane, everything. And he wanted me to let you know that that's how we met, that I was a rich Duchess woman, pristine woman on a ship, and he was a lonely street rat on a ship, and he found me, and we banged in a car, and then we hit an iceberg, and then he died. So he wanted me to let you guys know that, and I just wanted to include it so you know the type of man that we're dealing with here and why I'm just like the luckiest person who's lived. I'm so lucky. But now I have some questions for you guys. You guys gave me so many questions. I got some questions for you. Okay. 1, what is your your favorite true crime case, for a lack of a better word. What is the case that keeps you up at night and keeps you interested, and anytime you see a video on it or an article on it, you're just like, yes, and you click it and you watch it. I would also like to know, out of every video that I have uploaded, which one has been your favorite. I would also like to know, what is your favorite scary movie? Or if you don't like scary movies, what is your favorite movie, period? Because I want to watch it. And let me know your all-time favorite song and who it is by, because I would like to make like a subscriber playlist, and I want to get to know you guys on that kind of level. And I think that that's everything. Oh, one more thing. If you made it this far, so I know that you're a real one, leave a pink heart emoji or a black heart emoji, or just type the words black heart or pink heart, just so I know you made it this far, because I have no idea who's going to actually watch this long of a video, because I feel like it's long. I feel like it's long. And let me know what you think of this makeup look. I'm not convinced that it's good, but I'm not convinced that it's bad either. I'll probably lean with it and rock with it, right? It's okay. And which eye do you like better? I love a 2 different color eye look. I just don't know if this is the one for me. But anyways, guys, that completes this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if there's any single thing that I answered a question on and you got some information you want me to expand on, let me know down below. Give me any questions that you wish that you had asked and didn't get a chance to ask. Anything else you want to know, let me know. I will respond to your questions. And if you didn't see the video I uploaded earlier in the week, because this is going to go up on a Thursday, which means that I put up a morbid makeup on Monday, I will link it so you can watch it. Make sure to do that. It's going to be a good one, because they're always good ones. Of course, let me know of any cases you would like to see me cover down below, because I always put all of your suggestions on my list. As you see, I wrote down every question. I take you guys very seriously. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down below so I can add them to my list, because I love to look into the things you're interested in, because I know you're filled with good taste and good ideas, or otherwise you would not be here. Of course, join the Brat Pack by subscribing and ringing the bell if you have not done so already, because I put out a new morbid makeup video every week, and I would love to hang out with you, specifically you. And if you want to hang out with me more regularly, you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They are both BRATTERSTEIN, just like my namesake here. And with all of that said, I would like to thank you for being here when you could literally be anywhere else in the world. You're tight. This has been tight, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.